what I want to do is this. I'm going to do a very super short demo talking about watercolor and how to mix it properly and how to paint with it properly. I've already talked to you guys a little bit about the concepts behind it, the molecular style of it, how it all works and gels together. So really, really quick, I'm going to go as quick as I possibly can. So here we go. So what I've got are only a handful of tools, right? So tool number one, I've got my paintbrushes. Right? And you can get whatever kind of paintbrushes you prefer. If you go to an art supply store, there are watercolor paintbrushes. There are acrylic paintbrushes. There are, tempera paintbrushes. You get the idea. This is a high school class. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Use whatever paintbrushes you want. You'll figure out what works really quickly, right? There are synthetic brushes. There are a whole bunch of different types. I'm not going to worry about that for the sake of this class. So I've grabbed a handful of paintbrushes. Cool. I've also grabbed a little tiny cup here of water. That's it, just a little tiny cup of water. You guys are welcome to it. You don't need a lot of water. There's no reason to fill this thing all the way to the top. You just don't need to, okay? Finally, I know this sounds silly, paper towel. I know it sounds absolutely stupid and you're like, why do I even care? The thing you were missing in 3rd grade was a paper towel, and we're gonna use it in not the way you think. So I promise it's going to make sense in a second. And then absolutely, positively last, I probably should have somewhere. Oh yeah, thank you, sir. We're going to need our watercolor, right? So this is, again, just the pigment that we're using, okay? These are just little cakes. And truly, this is the exact same junk that you'd get at the dollar store. It's not fancy, it's not good, but it's literally the exact same stuff you get at the dollar store, and I'm going to prove to you it has no bearing on whether you spend hundreds of dollars on your mediums or you spend $1. It all matters on how you, the artist, learn to use it. So all this is pigment, okay? Also notice here that in the top of the lid, it's kind of all crusty in that. I'm gonna go ahead and wash that out right now, which sounds kind of silly, right? But there's a reason, because we're gonna use this as our palette, okay? If you'd like, you are absolutely welcome, to use a real palette. I've got a couple over there. Obviously, we use them for acrylic and tempera and everything. But I'm just going to use the lid mainly because I'm lazy. Hi, sir. Thanks so much. All right, so I'm just cleaning this out, and you can see how easy it is. Comes right out. Okay. Cool. All right. Good? Ready? Everything's set up. We're ready to go. The last thing I'm going to do is this. I really want to draw something. So I should have planned on this, but I didn't. How about I'll draw from something. This is my benefits package. Here you go. All right. This is my benefits package. Hooray. You guys get to see what amazing benefits I get for being a teacher. Here we go. So I'm going to draw weird old teacher math man. Okay? Cool? Fine. Whatever. All right. So we're going to use him. He's in my way, so... And that's what I care about that. Okay. So we're going to do him. Cool? All right. Here we go. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and kind of look at him, really analyze him for a second. And I'm going to try and figure out what colors make up his face. So here, I'm going to zoom in for a second here so you can actually kind of see what I'm looking at. Now, I realize on your projection screen here that the face is a little bit kind of washed out. It's not as vibrant as I can see it, but we can still kind of play the same game. So first thing is this, and this is kind of an ethics lesson, okay? I assure you, 100%, I assure you, in the world of painting, right? In the world of painting, I realize that there's all sorts of stuff in the news that happens all the time dealing with racial relations and equality and all this crazy stuff that's happening in our world right now as we speak. But in the world of painting, I'm going to completely solve all of racism in one fell swoop. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Every single person, whenever I paint them, I use the exact same skin color. That's it. The exact same. I don't care what ethnicity you are. I use the exact same skin color. Here's the only difference. I don't care if you're a weird, crusty math teacher. It's the same skin color. Because the thing is this, your skin, your value of skin is not brown, beige, or tannish peach. It's not, right? Crayola has taught you that because they've sold you crayons that say, this is your skin color, and you colored with it in 3rd grade, but they lied to you, right? Whenever I paint, all I need are my primary colors. Because I know I can mix up a nice kind of good earthy brown color by mixing complementary colors. And a complementary color, for example, like red and green, and I know green is just mix of yellow, and blue, which means really I only need a little bit of yellow, a tiny bit of red, and the smallest amount of blue to make a really nice earthy kind of brown color. But the key is this, it's not brown. It's not out of the tube brown. In fact, it's got a little bit of green in it, a little bit of purple, and a little bit of orange, and it mixes up and it swirls around because your skin is not a color. Your skin is literally a thin little piece of transparent plastic that's wrapped around organs and meat and blood and bile and all sorts of crazy goo that's inside of you, right? Your skin is not a color because you have veins that pop out of there and do different things, right? My skin has reds and blues and all sorts of stuff. So first things first, do not paint skin color. It doesn't exist at all, right? Instead, what we're gonna do is this. We're gonna mix up ahead of time. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to my paint. A little bit of water here. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, we're zoomed in. Whoa, get out of here, math teacher.
The math teacher.
There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and all I'm gonna do is add a little bit of water to my paint, just the smallest amount, and that kind of activates it, right? It gets it kind of moving and flowing a little bit. It tells it that a party's about to start and I'm the king of the party. Cool? I know, right? That's all I ever wanted, to be the king of the party. Okay, so here we go. So I've got my colors here, and I want to mix up a skin color. Now what I see on Weird Math Teacher, personally, what I see is I see a little bit of purples, so I definitely want to mix up a purple. I could take what Crayola gives me here and just use their kind of purpley color, but I don't really like that personally. I'm going to mix my own, so I'm going to grab some blue over here. And you know what do I get to do purple? I mix blue and what?
Red.
Red, absolutely, yeah. How could I have forgotten? So I'm going to take a little bit of red as well. I'm going to make kind of this like earthy looking purple. It's not really pretty and I like it. Now here's the thing. I mentioned to you guys before, there is no white paint in watercolor, right? Now again, technically, yes, there is a pigment that's white and it's used for blending and blah, blah, blah. But as far as you're concerned, no white paint. So how do I make something lighter? What do you guys think? Yeah, water. Water is your white paper, right? So if I want this kind of earthy purple color that I've got going on, if I want this earthy purple color to be lighter, I simply add more water to it. That's it, and it becomes lighter. Now it doesn't look any lighter right here, okay? It looks exactly the same. However, watch this. I'm gonna get rid of Math Teacher for a second. Go over there. All right, watch this. So I'm gonna do, can you guys see? Okay. So I'm gonna take a little bit of my color. Take a little bit of my color right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and make a paint stroke, whoop, and it's that color, okay? It has that intensity to it. However, if I really like the color, but I want it to be lighter, watch this. I'm gonna take a little bit of water, mix it in, just a little bit more. 2 scoops will do ya, okay? Exact same color on my palette, and yet here, way thinner, way waterier. Watch this, I'm gonna blot. Watch that. Comes right off, right? Watch, we'll do it again. More water. Okay, same level of pigment. I haven't added more paint. I'm just adding more water. It's like you're adding more white paint, and it's even softer, right? And we can go again and again and again and again and again. Now, you guys know whenever I taught you to paint acrylic and paint with tempera, do you start light to dark or dark to light? What works better?
Light.
Light to dark, absolutely. So theoretically, it would make way more sense to start down here in my really washed out looking color and slowly add more pigment than it would to just grab the color purple and try and paint with it. It's too much. It's way too intense. I can't get rid of that, right? So always start out kind of washed out looking. Cool? All right, so let's do this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna burn through this as quickly as I possibly can, just to prove to you guys that you can do a lot of cool stuff. The other thing you're gonna see me doing a lot is I've got my paper towel. I told you that this paper towel is gonna be the big king to your drawings. When you're learning watercolor, eventually you won't need this at all. This is kind of like your training wheels. When you're learning, right, I'm gonna use this to blot, and all I'm doing is pushing straight down on my paper to blot up some of that water. It dries it off quicker and allows me to apply more paint in a quicker fashion. Also, it's kind of like erasing. If I totally mess up, I can pretty much blot it out. It'll still leave a little bit of a ghost image, but enough that I can paint over top of it. Okay, here we go. So, Weird Math Teacher guy from inside my little handbook here. There he is. All right, let's do it. Here we go. All right. So I see with my little eye. Let's see. Got some orange. Let's see a little bit of lighter color. Yep. Let's see. So I'm going to try and do this without any drawing underneath. You are welcome, absolutely welcome, to draw your picture ahead of time. I'm just going to go a little bit fresher than that. Now, right now, I apologize. I know it's kind of washed out looking. You can't really see what I'm doing, but you will very, very soon. A little bit more pigment. I want kind of a red in there. So he's got some cool red to his skin. A little bit in there. I'll test it over here to kind of make sure that it works. And I'll go through. Now, notice that I didn't blot it out. So what's happening is I'm doing a technique right now that's called wet on wet. And what's happening is this. So I've got, you can kind of vaguely see a little bit that's happening right here. What I can do if I want it to blend out even more is I can dry off my paintbrush, get a little bit of just straight fresh water on there, just a little bit. And I can get in here and I can actually blur the edges. While it's still wet, I can blur the edges of my watercolor to get it a little bit softer, a little bit more blended out, right? So I can even keep going here. Just gonna use the same color. Let's see. Okay. So I'm just applying kind of these washes of color. You can also, if you don't have access to watercolor, but you have access to acrylic paint, you can do a technique called a wash, where you just take straight acrylic paint and you add a poop ton of water to it to really make it like liquidy, and you could paint with that too. That also works. I'm gonna go ahead and blot this, okay, just to kind of pick it up. And then for the sake of time, I'm just gonna rush through this here real quick. Kind of mix up a little bit of something, something. Okay. And it's kind of a little homemade brown for you. Not what Crayola gave me, just making it up myself. Give him his way cool hairdo. I don't have hair, so I'm jealous of him. It's true. It's true. And again, I apologize. I know the demo is kind of long today, but thank you for staying with me. Now, I could spend my time and get a better paintbrush and really get some fine lines in here and really make it work. However, the problem that I'm going to run into is things like, say for example, his glasses, right? There's, I got a problem because his glasses are way too fine for my paintbrush, and I don't have a small enough paintbrush to get in there, right? So what we're going to do is this. I'm going to have you guys incorporate, whenever you feel comfortable, whenever you guys incorporate a little bit of what's called pen and ink. Right? And pen and ink is exactly what you think it is. I'm just going to use a pen, which is full of ink, to draw on top of this thing. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. Watch this. So first I'm going to finish up my drawing. He's got a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow, so I'm going to go ahead and give him that. He's got a little bit of shadow underneath his chins. I'm going to grab just the smallest amount of blue. And let's get that cleaned off. I'm going to go ahead and kind of put a little bit of blue underneath so he's got like a little bit of a shadow in there. Let's see. Notice, other than his hair, I haven't used the color tan or brown once. So that blue looks a little bit intense for my taste. Use a little bit of watercolor, or excuse me, use a little bit of straight water to clean it up. Okay. So something like that. So the face is kind of in there, but there's no detail to it. So again, I'm going to go ahead and take my paper towel. I'm going to blot this, and notice I'm just pushing straight down. Don't streak it, or else it's going to look really janky. Okay, so I push straight down on it, and at this point I've got kind of a face-looking thing, right? Something like that, right? But it's a face. So the last thing is this. I'm going to go ahead and grab a pen, which for you guys I've got over on our painting table there. Just a plain, everyday, I mean straight up just a big pen. I'm not spending hundreds of dollars on this. You can get nice pens. I'm too cheap. So I'm going to go ahead and watch this. I already know how to draw a portrait, so all I'm going to do is sketch right over top. Again, it's dry. Okay, sketch right over top. I notice that I'm not outlining. I'm just getting some of my detail that I wouldn't be able to get otherwise. let's see, what else could I do? I want his hair to be a little bit darker down here, so I'm going to really go to town down here. And kind of get up in there. Just like that. Get a little cross-hatching in there. Kind of touch up his nose. And you'll start to see, as this face slowly kind of comes out of hiding. It was in there the whole time, just hiding just a little bit. So you don't need to use pen and ink. I find that I like it because it kind of gives me a little bit more detail in an otherwise kind of wishy-washy looking painting. But it really can add something quick and easy if you're in a pinch. But again, you do not need it. You're welcome to just do a straight 100% drawing, or painting, excuse me. Right? Make sense? Cool. So notice that I painted shapes. I didn't paint outlines. I let my pen be a couple outlines if you felt it necessary. Cool? Questions, comments, concerns? I know that was long. I apologize. We okay? Okay. All right. So